your suffering literally cannot end unless you stop identifying with it. To put things into perspective a little bit, I'm going to be reading out this quote that changed my life back in December. It goes something like, your suffering can't end unless you stop identifying with it. If your sense of self is tied up in your suffering, anyone or anything that attempts to separate you from it will become the enemy, because whether consciously or subconsciously, you will on some level believe that they are trying to take away a part of who you are. Back in December, when I first read this quote, the reason why that it really resonated with me, and also kind of just like was just like, whoa, you did not have to attack me that hard, was because I thought that my suffering, as in all the things that I have been through in my entire life, or all the things that I've been through in the recent past, or just the past in general, I have to keep identifying with them. I thought that if I don't keep mentioning the things that have happened to me, or if I don't feel at least a little sad about them, about the things that have happened to me, then I'm like not doing justice to myself, or I am doing bad to the version of myself that had to go through all of that, in the sense that I was like invalidating her, or I was forgetting all the things that have happened to me, and becoming this new person. But that's kind of half and half the point, in the sense that you don't have to forget all the bad things that have happened to you, but you do have to learn from them and then move on, and not make them the bane of your existence. I think that's what I was doing. I was making all the things that had happened to me the bane of my existence, when all I had to do was make them a lesson, and then move on and live the rest of my life that I have left. When I read this, I was thinking about it for days, because I knew that it was true, and I knew that in the past also, anytime somebody tried to minimize all the things that had happened to me, or not give them enough credit, or just not acknowledge them enough, it felt like they did not understand me, or that they didn't care about me enough. But it was not like that. It was that I cared about it too much. Like, okay, all of these things have happened, they were bad, they have had a significant impact on me, but that was their point. Once I realized that I don't have to keep identifying with something for it to still be a significant part of something or events that shaped me, it was really freeing, because then I could let go of the guilt of feeling happy, or feeling like I didn't have to keep identifying with something just because I have been holding on to it for so long. I think it was also that I feel like because I was holding on to that, those type of feelings, those type of incidents, and just that identity of mine for so long, it just felt so familiar, and it was almost as if I didn't want to betray that person. It's really not leaving or betraying the person that you used to be, or the person that went through all of that. It is more like, I went through all of that, and I have so much respect for myself, and I'm so proud of myself for whatever I went through, but I don't have to still keep identifying and still be that person right now, after all of that has happened, to still give that version of myself comfort. And I think that's true for a lot of people. I feel like you have to stop identifying with your suffering. Your life and your sole existence and the bane of your existence should not be that all of these bad things are happening to me and I am such a victim, and I and that is simply what my life is gonna be, and that's it. Because if you make it that is what your life is going to be. I think more like, rather than that, a person is completely allowed to feel bad or to feel sad and be sad about things that happen to them, but still recognize that there is a certain expiration date to that, and to outgrow that version of themselves, and then to move forward from that. I think so many people are still living in like versions of themselves from multiple years ago, and they don't even realize, because they're so used to it, and they're so used to being sad, and they're just so used to the whole thing that they just don't realize it anymore. But you don't have to do that. I feel like once I realized that I don't have to do something, or I don't have to keep being a certain way, or I don't have to identify with XYZ traits of being like somebody who like is like yawns a lot, or just like never gets treated right, or is always somebody who's like who people leave and all of that. Maybe I was that person once, or maybe I've even it wasn't even about me being that person. Maybe it was just that certain incidents happened to me that made me think that I was a person like that. I felt that I had to keep identifying with it, but I don't. I literally don't. I didn't, and I don't. Even today, I can just decide to not identify with a certain trait of mine, and then tomorrow I can just not have that. I can be like, yeah, that used to be me, it's not anymore. And it wouldn't be betraying myself, it wouldn't be lying to myself. It would just be me changing my mind about it, or me realizing that I have outgrown that part of me or that version of me, and that is completely okay. So I think that your suffering cannot end unless you realize that that is not the bane of your existence. And as soon as you stop making it the bane of your existence, and just that thing that you constantly keep thinking about, or it being the center of your life, you are the center of your life. The things that have happened to you do not define you. They shape you, yes, but the things that have happened to you do not define you. You decide what defines you, and that does not have to be misery. That does not have to be your suffering. It can be anything that you want it to be, and I hope that you realize that.